Are you aware that the term anchor baby, that's an offensive term? People find that.
You mean it's not politically correct, and yet everybody uses it? So you know what? Give me a different term. Give me a different term. What else would you like to say?
The American-born child of an undocumented immigrant.
Oh, you want me to say that? Okay. No, I'll use the word anchor baby. Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
So that debate continues. Donald Trump brushing off his criticism of that phrase, anchor babies. Part of his plan calls for ending birthright citizenship. That is what the 14th Amendment calls for. Trump says it's become essentially a loophole for illegal immigrants. Juan Williams, Fox News political analyst, and Mary Catherine Ham, editor-at-large at HotAir.com, and a Fox News contributor as well. Good morning to both of you. So Trump says, hey, I'm going to use it. Jeb Bush, MK, he said he's going to use it. Bobby Jindal was here yesterday. He says, I'm going to use it. So what then?
Well, I think a lot of people are saying, OK, I'm not going to listen to a millennial reporter having a semi-meltdown while he's asking a question. The fact that Trump inspires that, I think, is what people respond to about Trump, so that Trump can then have his own semi-meltdown about the term, and they can have this sort of anti-PC back and forth. Look, I'm not the language police, and I don't think this was the place for that reporter to be like, don't you think that's hurtful? But here's the thing.
That reporter was, MK, that reporter was fired up.
Yeah, he was fired up. But here's the thing. Well, and so was Trump, right? So they both get something out of it. But here's the thing. People born on this soil are as American as I am, and I'm not interested in calling them something else. And it doesn't help move your issue forward to talk about it in a way that doesn't attract people. End of story. Like, if you're trying to attract people, talk about things in a smart way.
All right. Anchor baby used to be anchor child, I believe. It was the Vietnamese who came here in the early 1980s, and that is where that phrase apparently originates. Juan, do you have a problem with this?
Oh, I think it's an offensive term. I mean, you know, I think a lot of people want to put it in terms of political correctness, Bill, but to me, what you have here is a total distortion of the issue. You know, there's such a small percentage of children who come in this way, born, you know, the mother sneaks in and is born. The reality is that we're talking about a need to reform an entire immigration system, and we're talking about things like what are the rights that come from having a child born in this country? Is it chain migration? How can we change that? All that's lost. Instead, we're talking about this loaded phrase that, as I said to you, if you're an immigrant to this country, you find it offensive that your children, a child, a gift from God, would be talked about in these terms. And I think that's why I think a lot of people in the Republican Party think, you know, this is hurting us with Hispanics, Latinos, with Asians. What are we doing?
Well,
yeah.
I tell you what we're doing. Hang on. We're in the middle of a campaign here. Yeah. And what Bill O'Reilly would phrase is you don't want to outflank the extreme on the other party. And this is the point he made on that. Watch.
There is a way to legally revoke the anchor baby law, and it should be done, as that law is undermining federal immigration. But there's also a way for Republicans to lose the upcoming election if they out-extreme their far-left counterparts.
So, Mary Catherine, have you given that consideration to out-extreme the other side? Right.
Look, I'm as surprised as anybody that I'm agreeing with Bill on this, but here's the thing. Yes, when you are appealing to the entire country, that's something you have to keep in mind. And I have the same position on birthright citizenship as Senator Ted Cruz has had on tape several times as a Supreme Court litigator. It's in the Constitution. You can talk about ways to change it. There is a very arduous way to change it by changing the Constitution, but maybe it shouldn't be your top priority because that's a really hard row to hoe, and it doesn't attract a lot of people to your cause. So I think there are other things you can talk about in the immigration issue that are more pertinent,
like
and
enforce the border
more people,
and do everything
like
that's
illegal
supposed
immigration
to be.
and not Americans.
Okay, all right, right on. Like the laws the way they're written. Now, Juan, do you agree with O'Reilly? Are we going to make it 3-3 here?
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to say to you earlier. I think that if you're looking to win the White House, you're trying to expand the Republican base. You're not trying to insult and alienate people. So you can play to a slice of the party that says, you know, we're kind of extreme on this issue. I mean, there are people who have raised this issue before and said, hey, that's cheating. Okay. But at some point, you have to deal with the larger issue. And if you can do it in a way that wins support for you and for your party, I would think that's what you want to do. And in fact, even within the Republican Party, when you go to the polls, Bill, what you see is 50+% of Republicans agree there should be a pathway to citizenship. It shouldn't be, as Trump says, everybody's got to go. Deport them all.
Guys, speaking of which, I got to go. MK next time, all right? 40,000 in Mobile tonight. Wow. MK,
yeah,
Juan,
that's amazing.
Thanks. Enjoy the weekend. Here's Martha.
See ya.